Hello and welcome to Leesburg Dam State Park. Today we'll be discussing an issue that many of us are familiar with, but not one we usually talk about, the invasion of salt cedar. Down here on the ground you can see the salt that is pulled out of the ground by the salt cedars themselves. And look at that sexy guy. Look at that sexy hat. Now, the salt is pulled out of the ground by the salt cedars, which causes a problem for many native species that can't withstand the salinity of the soil now. Now here you can still see the salt on the ground, but also some of these dead trees. Now this is salt cedar that has been chopped down and pretty much stacked, but as you can see from the stump, it has started to regrow, which causes quite a bit of problems for everyone. And around salt cedar, as seen here, there's not else that can grow. It's just salt cedar mainly, and other plants that can deal with the salinity, which is not very many. It's just basically barren ground with salt cedars on it. And you can see part of the refurbished areas that you have grasses starting to grow again. And I say partially because you can see out in the distance the salt cedars that are remaining and regrowing. Now here's another removal method. Is basically you chop the tree down and you put it through a wood chipper and you leave the chips, which acts kind of as a humus. It breaks down, adds to the soil. Now however, it didn't quite work here. As you can see, the tree has started to regrow from the stump, which is, oh, there's that sexy guy again. Hello. It started to regrow. Anyhow, now you can see right here, this is an up close and personal viewing of the density of the foliage of salt cedar. You saw previously the first shot that you saw, which was an impenetrable wall basically of salt cedars. This is kind of an up close tree by tree look at, and as you can see on the ground around, there's nothing else growing but the salt cedar, which wreaks havoc with native grasses and herbs as they can't grow. Oh, hello Brendan, look at that. Now in these refurbished areas you can see quite a bit of diversity of plants coming back as the salt cedar has been removed. There's that sexy guy again taking pictures. Anyhow, you can see some of the grasses and herbs have started to return, making this more viable. But still lingering are the salt cedars that either have not been removed or have started to in fact regrow. Now here's another stump that has obviously been chopped to pieces, but the salt cedar persists, regrowing from what is left of the roots and back up. Now here's kind of a wide span view of refurbished areas. You can see cottonwoods and other grasses, and that's the road. Hello road. Anyhow, here we go.
You see all this detritus on the ground? Well, this is what we need, all these cottonwoods and stuff. And then you look back here a wee bit. Oh, there's Colton Wave. And you see back here there's willows. These are seeded willows. This is what we're looking for up in here. Now we go back around. Oh look, there's a bird nest. Isn't that a beauty? Hey, it's a beautiful little bird nest. Anyway, continuing on. We're going back through up in here. Going. Oh, looky there. There's a cottonwood. Isn't that a beautiful specimen of a cottonwood? That's exactly what we want up in here. We don't want none of that salt cedar stuff that we saw back yonder. This is this stuff that we're looking for. Look at these levels of succession, these canopy layers here. That's the good thing. I mean, we have multiple canopy layers here. This is awesome. And then you go back over there and you just see really one. You know, that's really not what you're looking for. But this canopy stuff, this is great for your native wildlife, you know. And oh, aye, that's a good point here. And we saw back in the earlier shots of the unrehabilitated thing, we only saw a couple species, but look here, we have sumacs and cottonwoods and willows and screwbean mesquite. Not in this particular. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Screwbean mesquite. There you go. So you see this, the great diversity having these rehabilitated areas. That's what's really important about getting rid of salt cedar. Not only is it affecting the flow of the river, it's also affecting the diversity of vegetation that we find in the areas, and that's really not good. Oh, there's the bird's nest again. And this, you know, it's really not good for our native animals to live in this monotone looking areas of the salt cedar. But you see, this is just very important. Oh, you're not supposed to see that part because that's rehabilitated. Anyway, we'll just skate over that. Well, I guess you could say even in these bastions of refurbished areas, you can see that these salt cedars still persist, and that one's looking like a pretty old one there. I mean, just look at the size of it.
Now, one of the most promising methods of removal is the tamarack beetle, which goes in and it eats the salt cedar fully and completely. It's one of the most promising things that we have. It hasn't quite reached New Mexico yet, but we're working on it. So that's all we have for you today. So have a nice one and goodbye. I said goodbye. Now bugger off. Hey, bugger off. Get out of here. Go to the other classes. See ya. Toodaloo. Bye.